Many thanks for staying with us. Now, late last week, Namibia and Germany formed a partnership for green hydrogen. National Planning Commission Director General Obeth Kanjode and Germany's Federal Research Minister Anja Karliczak agreed to establish a German-Namibian hydrogen partnership and signed a joint communique of intent during a virtual ceremony in Windhoek and Berlin last Wednesday. Joining us here in studio is Mrs. Margaret Mutsler, who is the chairperson of the Namibia Green Hydrogen Association, to tell us more about the expectations of this partnership. Ms. Margaret, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Firstly, as the chair of the Green Hydrogen Association, what is your reaction to this partnership?
Namibia has huge opportunities to offer. With our vast renewable resources, it is no incident that foreign partners are lining up to form partnerships, or foreign countries are lining up to form partnerships with us. So. We can contribute greatly to the decarbonization of our own industry as well as the decarbonization of the global industry. We've been noticed by a number of developers, starting with development in Namibia, and we see this in the private sector. And it's amazing to see how it all heats up, and much more now, so now that the government has put out a bid.
Very much.
For any partnership to work sustainably, we need to have it needs to be on mutual beneficial terms.
Yes.
So when I perused this joint communique, my question was, how is this beneficial to Namibia and to Germany?
Exactly.
So what I can see out of this is, on the one side, Germany is providing the seed funding to make Namibia a sandbox for implementing pilot projects. To sort out the challenges of upscaling all the components in the value chain of delivering green hydrogen-based products. On the other side, and provide potentially an offtake market, and definitely would like to have to take some of the Namibian green hydrogen. On the other side, it gives Germany a privileged position in the development of the Namibia's green hydrogen-based strategy. So for this partnership to work, it needs to be mutually beneficial, but it also needs to be not exclusive. And it would need to allow Namibia to form similar partnerships with other countries as well. Yes.
So one can safely say that this partnership, this agreement is mutually beneficial, yeah?
It looks like it, yes.
Fantastic. Looking at the global race for the best hydrogen technologies and the best sites for hydrogen production, it is on. Just how well does this place Namibia and Germany optimally? Okay.
So you have two approaches. We've seen various approaches from developers and countries. You have, and I can classify them in two approaches. The one is to start with smaller projects, bit by bit, and deliver faster, but on a smaller scale. The other side, the other way of thinking is doing large-scale projects, which takes longer to develop, and rely on the fact that during this development phase, the challenges for upscaling these value components will take place. We need both. Frankly, we don't have time. We need both of them. As you have said, we really need to fast-track our decarbonization of our planet.
Very much so.
So we need the smaller projects to solve the challenges, but we need the large projects to give direction and urgency to the smaller projects solving these challenges.
Very much.
And this is what we see in this joint communique, is that Germany leans towards the more meticulous solving the problems bit by bit. And Germans are known for being meticulous.
Very meticulous indeed.
So in that way, Namibia and Germany is following great training partners in this race for decarbonization. And I believe that to both countries' objectives, this can work and place us both into an extremely well position in the international market.
Very much. Talking about training, there's some large funds being put aside as well for the training of Namibians, especially in line of this undertaking. We're looking at amounts such as 400 million Namibian dollars within this partnership framework, much of it which will go to training, as you rightfully put it. How important is this?
I first want to start and say we have a skilled workforce. As Namibians, we should never underestimate our own abilities, and sometimes we really should work a little bit about our self-confidence.
Exactly, very true.
The reality is these entities, this industry will need this skilled workforce and much more of it. And it's the numbers, the sheer size of it that is critical to us. So we need to look at Namibians that can be deployed against different phases of the project, in the different value chain components of the project, and in different job categories. We need literally from the semi-skilled tradesperson right to the PhD research R&D component of it.
Very much.
And we have, we can tap into an existing foundation, the mining, energy, tourism, fishing foundation already created a good platform from where we can move to solve our terrible unemployment situation we have in Namibia, and specifically in the youth sector in this regard. There's opportunity for Namibia not only to train to be utilized in Namibia, but to actually export our skills, to become national players in exporting people and know-how to international markets in this industry. There's an opportunity for small businesses to establish, for small, medium enterprises to grow, and actually to start participating
some kind of service
internationally as well. But not only in Namibia, but look beyond Namibia as well internationally.
Very much so. When you look at, the development of green hydrogen here in Namibia, obviously an important aspect would be how government makes this a conducive environment for investors or potential investors. In that respect, what would you say would investors require, from the government, and moreover, have we created that suitable, that feasible environment for potential investors here?
I would like to start from why are they here in the first place? So I'm a proud Namibian. so let's start. There are 5 reasons why they're here. Politically, we're stable and safe. We have a legislative and a regulative environment that works, is tested and is sound. And we have proof of this. How we deal with a number of tacky issues and sticky issues is good evidence of that. We have a robust monetary system. And then we have good infrastructure. It's easy to travel in Namibia. It's easy to get around in Namibia. It's easy to get things into Namibia and out of Namibia. And we've got a skilled workforce. So these 5 components we already have. But what do we need more than that? Very obviously, access, sustainable long-term access to land. I mean, nothing's going to happen if we don't solve that one. We need support in untangling the difficulties to do business in Namibia, to get permits and licenses. Namibia is not user-friendly for businesses, and I'm a business person myself, we have to make decisions that stick beyond the scope or the time frame of a minister's reign or even a president. Sorry, Your Excellency, but even a president's reign. We need to send a clear message about what Namibia's ambitions are and what do we need. And that needs to be balanced with the realism that we need to remain competitive in the international market. We still need to sell our product and compete sustainably in the international market. And then lastly, we need a larger skilled business and labour force in order to be employed.
And all of these are deliverables.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When you look at, and coming back to, again, how Namibians stand to benefit from it, I think this is the big question. There's a lot of talk of, foreign investors, large sums being mentioned, etc. And, the conversation hasn't really gone around, how Namibians can also form part of it, buy in, etc. Maybe you can expand on that point here.
Oh, absolutely. And I just received this morning a socioeconomic and a macroeconomic impact assessment in the industry, which really excited me. So thank you for this question. Let's tackle it in different sectors. First, how do we solve this unfortunate fiscal position we found ourselves in? This green hydrogen can contribute to diversify the export basket. And it's quite interesting now in the reports coming in to what extent it can contribute to this. It can contribute, obviously, to government's coffers. I mean, there are a myriad level of taxes and ways how government can earn money from being in this industry or for enabling this industry. We can create a productive environment on various levels for our workforce. So we have employment, we can solve employment, and we've seen that the multiplication factor for one family being employed, it's close to 2.6. So it is a direct and an induced impact, which is fantastic in Namibia. And there's an opportunity, obviously, for growth of new businesses, Namibian businesses, current businesses in Namibia, but also, as I said, going beyond Namibia.
Very much so.
Then we have the other categories, energy security.
Which is a very important aspect here.
Very important, very close to my heart.
For the mining industry as well, yes.
Absolutely. So energy security, we now start talking about not only electricity security, but energy security, home-based energy components. And that can be deployed in a multi of facets. One thing that comes to mind is supplementing off-grid rural electrification with a fuel source that is not only green, but is homegrown. Secondly, in general, providing and attracting large energy users that really needs to decarbonize their industry because of the availability of green fuel or green molecules. Then the other component is water security. Part of this solution is desalination. I mean, we need to take seawater, desalinate it, and take the hydrogen molecule out of this. Now, this is bringing a lot of effort and a lot of impetus in desalination, and we should tap into that and roll it out to the rest of Namibia, making sure that Namibians have affordable access to water and water supply. Then lastly, food security. You have water, you have energy, you have brine from the desalination, and you have ammonia, potentially green ammonia, which is a hydrogen vector or carrier for hydrogen for fertilizer.
Exactly.
So we can resolve our own food security, and then we can go beyond this, and we can start exporting or complement our food export basket by exporting high-value products to international markets, all based on green technology.
Very much.
Which in itself, the provenance of that is a very big advantage for Namibia.
So many benefits indeed. What is there to be concerned about, green hydrogen as an undertaking? Are there any harmful impacts that perhaps may not sit well with our environment?
Any intervention that we do will create harm, will cause harm. It is about balancing and mitigating that harm and the trade-off of the better good. So the first thing that comes to mind, the wind is in areas which are part of this brownfield development because of the existing mining industry, but also very sensitive development, and some of them pristine. And we will really need to think carefully how we go along in dealing with this. The other thing is if we don't skill our if we don't train if we don't up the numbers of our skilled workforce, you can see migration of workforce between industries and a number of these things. So yes, we need to be aware of this. That's why comprehensive socioeconomic impact assessment, environmental impact assessments will be so critical, so that we can sit around a table and decide as Namibians, how do we want this new industry to impact us.
Very much so. Margaret, of course, this conversation goes beyond just you and I who are here right now, but also for future generations to come. How important is this undertaking? How important is it that we decarbonize Namibia?
Extremely important. There's a great momentum in Namibia, in the green-based and the green hydrogen-based in the industry happening. And we need to move beyond the dream. We need to move beyond the momentum. We really need to start thinking, how can we give this legs in Namibia? And how do we achieve this? The first thing is we roll up our sleeves. We get off the couch, stop complimenting or complaining, stop criticizing the game, the referees and the players, but actually become a player ourselves.
Exactly.
Find a way, find your space in this and become active in it and get cracking. That's the first thing. The second component of this, find the connecting dots. We need to find the connecting dots of this industry with all the other industries in our country to make sure that this impetus that it brings get legs and find houses in a number of other industrial developments on large scale, small scale, medium scale, micro scale.
Absolutely.
For me, it is an extremely critical, and the reason why I'm passionate to be in the midst of this and so privileged to be in the midst of this, it allows me a legacy. It allows me an opportunity to leave a legacy for my children and for their children. Not only a legacy that I'm proud of, but also a legacy that tried to resolve some of the challenges we brought by causing harm in the way we lived in this planet. And the great thing about this, it's all happening here in Namibia.
Amazing. Margaret, thank you so much for being here this morning. All the best with your work here.
Thank you very much.
There you have it, Margaret Mutsler. She is the chairperson of the Namibia Green Hydrogen Association, talking to us this morning about the joint communique of intent that is between Germany and Namibia, reflecting on that. Furthermore, also talking about the limitless possibilities of this green hydrogen undertaking, saying that, of course, everyone and anyone can benefit from this. It's just a matter of aligning ourselves with this undertaking and, of course, seeing how we can play our part. To stay with us.